Hey guys, Liana here. Trying for the fourth time to make a video today. I finally got past a ridiculously hard part in this game. I'm at the part, there's like an OMG part, and it's happened, and I OMG'd, and if you look at the sky, it's pretty screwed, and now these angry villagers are a lot more angry and a lot hairier. Apparently there is now a nair shortage in this village. There is a run on waxing products, and now there is a large Cthulhu spider overhead. I don't know if you can see it. The camera's not pushing up very well. There he is. That's pretty crazy. And he's got 6 fingers. We all know about 6-fingered villains. You killed my father. Prepare to die. So, yeah. I'm probably pushing my luck here, but I'm so proud I got past this part. This is one of those parts in this game that is just ridiculously hard just because of the enemy spam. And I'm past it, and I'm happy now. But, as you can tell, I'm a little bit hoarse because it's been... I hope people have been having... I hope some people had a happy Easter. There are a lot of people out there that seem to not have a very happy Easter. It seemed to be a very hard time for a lot of people. And it's kind of funny because I looked out of my lap and Momo is curled up in a way that he looks kind of like an egg. The menses ritual must be stopped lest we all become beasts. The menses ritual. That could involve... Well, menses is something else. This could get nasty. But, yeah, it's, oh, hey, here we go. Hello? Oh, that's not a good sound. But yeah, I'm just sort of, I'm having trouble figuring out what to talk about today and how to talk about it, because it is, you know how sometimes you see some stuff online and you experience some things online and they're not, big deals, you know, intellectually in the grand scheme of things, but just the human level and seeing the pain and seeing people not care about that pain. That stuff really bothers me. Oh, great. Bloody monsters. All these guys just came back from a Gwar concert. Finally. Oh, crap. These things hurt. Oh, I'm gonna have to do all that stuff all over again. That sucks. But, yeah, I'm having a really hard time getting my thoughts together from the sheer amount of hurt I'm seeing people commit against each other online. And I say I'm just going to stay off the internet for a while. I'm not going to look at it. But it's very hard in my line of work to stay off the internet because I'll have to research something or I'll have to go on it and find something. And unfortunately, a lot of news now is through Twitter. And so Twitter is almost like an essential tool for what I do. Not almost, it is. So it gets really tiring because in order to work, I have to go on Twitter because I have to see what's going on. I have to see the news stories and stuff like that. But in order to go on Twitter, I have to see all this thoroughly depressing crap of people just being horrible to each other for no good reason. And I'm getting a little tired of, and I'm sure other people have experienced this as well. I'm not the only one who's gone through this, but people just not respecting this idea that I do not want to talk about drama. I don't want to, oh, I didn't make it. I don't want to talk about the drama of the day. Is it about a game? Or is it about, you know, a game company? Or is it about some, you know, wide-reaching political issue that isn't personality politics? I'll talk to you. If it's about stupid shit someone said on Twitter again, you might as well be you might as well tell me your dog crapped in the lawn. That's what some people do on Twitter. That's what dogs do on lawns, right? I'm so sick. It's boring to the point of being depressing, and I don't like being depressed. And I also don't like just throwing up my hands and insisting there's nothing that can be done. There's always something that can be done when people are involved. And the amount of fatalism going around and the amount of acceptance that the internet is just an inherently horrible place and we should just accept that, I don't buy. You know, I don't buy. Because people said the same things about a lot of places historically, right? You know, there's this concept called Orientalism where people, I don't remember if it's specifically academics the concept references, but this idea that people from the East, you know, what is now referred to as the Middle East, as well as the Far East or the Near East, are considered just inherently different and inherently savage and exotic, and we cannot expect them to be anything but, you know, savages who, and people tend to, you know, things like that tend to be self-fulfilling prophecies that if you're looking for something, you're gonna have your bias confirmed. That's, you can look it up. I'm sure I explained that very badly because I'm trying to play a difficult game while talking about abstract concepts. But it is a real thing that people do sort of perpetuate and frame their own experience. And if you expect people to be negative idiots, well, that's what you're going to be tuned to. That's what you're going to see because you're waiting for it, right? You might miss the positive elements of a particular experience because you're so bracing for that negative thing to happen that you miss something good. And I've seen this happen over and over and over again online. Like, see right there, I freaked out, I button mashed because I was expecting him to kill me, and so I did something stupid. That's the equivalent of internet conversations now, is that people expect people to be horrible monsters, especially when they're on the opposite side of some dumb issue. And so they wait, and then they bait, they needle, and then when someone finally gets mad, they're like, you see, you're as bad as I thought you were. Well, everybody's as bad as you thought they were in their worst moments. Tea break. But people also have the capacity for good in them. I'm a bit of a Luke Skywalker this way, and it gets me into a lot of trouble. Is I prefer to see the good in people. You know, I don't want to focus on the bad. I don't want to focus on the bad stuff people did before, you know, they knew better. I want to focus on positive changes and improvements because that makes life less shitty for me. I prefer to see people as complex. People are not simple. And I know plenty of people who are glorious human beings, but they have very funny opinions on one or two things, and, you know, it's just not worth talking to them about that. I mean, you know, I know a guy, he's a brilliant person in his field, but he's an anti-vaxxer. And I'm like, really? Like, you're a smart guy. You're not, and it just, people's thoughts warp in really unpredictable ways when fear is part of the equation. And that's really what I think it is in a lot of cases. It's that people are afraid of being responsible for predictable suffering. And I think to me, the difference between a brave person and a cowardly person is a brave person is prepared to be wrong for the greater good. And there's not enough people involved in gaming right now who are prepared to just publicly say, I was wrong. You know, I see people doing it privately, but the internet has become anti-apology on top of all the other things they're against. The internet is against. It's trendy to be against things now. You know, it's not trendy to like stuff. It's trendy to be against stuff. You know, you can't just not be a feminist. You have to be an anti-feminist. And you can't just not be Christian. You have to be anti-Christian or anti-religion. It's immature. You know, because people believe there are only two sides to certain fights. And that's rigid thinking. That's binary thinking. And the reality is sometimes the wisest opinion on an issue is simply, I don't know enough about this. I don't know what I believe on this issue. Because a person willing to say, I don't know, might learn something. You know, maybe, hopefully, there's hope. If people are prepared to say they don't know something. Whereas if somebody thinks they're sure, well, you're not going to get a lot of movement there, are you? And so this idea that you're either with us or against us, now you're going to drive away a lot of people with thinking like that. You know, I don't need everybody to share my views. I'm good with people believing different things. What I'm not good with is people going out of their way to oppose things. Because we should know by this point that doesn't tend to get us very far as a people, as a society. That people will be, I don't think that's right, and then the world changes, and ta-da, suddenly everybody's like, well, what a silly thought. You know? So I'm really careful about that, you know. And I'm saying, you know, a lot. I'm aware. I've been criticized for that. That's my, how do I explain this? That's my consensus tick. That's I'm trying to speak to people as people, right? This is not going to go well. So that's my moment of sort of going, you get me? You hear me? You know, I try to vary up, but when you're playing a game where people are trying to burn you alive, holy cow. No, screw off. Ugh. It's like being on Twitter. It's a freaking witch hunt. Although that's Bayonetta, isn't it? No, screw off. Assholes. God, this is insane. Oh. What? What happened there? What? Oh, I stunned him. I thought that was me bleeding. Holy cow, I can't tell their blood from mine. Were those women? That's pretty cool. This game does not discriminate. It's like, man, women, human, beast, you're all dying. And I kind of like that. It really does put you into a mode of, if in doubt, kill it. Which is a neat design element. Whoa, hello. What is that? What? Oh, that's the dude. That's just background decoration, kind of. Monsters is background Oh, here's another lamp head guy. Wow, he looks like he died on the toilet. Doesn't he? It looks like he was taking a crap and they stuck a lamp thing on his head and then he died. Whoa! Okay. They're respawning. Not cool. So, see, this is the kind of stuff I want to talk about. This is the kind of conversations I want to have. I want to have fun in games and about games, because I'll be picky about certain things, but people do some absolutely brilliant work in this medium, absolutely, and that's what I want to focus on. I want to have great conversations about games. I don't want to have dumb identity politics fights in any way. I don't want to constantly be. I don't want the constant demands of, I have to answer for my entire profession because I cannot control my entire profession. If you want freedom of the press, expect us to have different views and different styles and different ideas of what's appropriate. That comes with freedom. And at the same time, I don't want to have people too quickly dismissed because they might not have, education or, oh no, I'm out of heels. Shit. They might not have, the politically correct term is sensitivity training, but let's just say they might not be sensitized to a particular issue. They haven't had the experience with it. That's what I assume nowadays when people seem to have a funny idea about something. I don't assume they are rotten to the core. It's just they have a different experience, and it's perfectly okay to have a different experience on something. Whoa! Alright, I forgot about that dumb gun guy. Ah, ooh, that was close. Ah. So while I do that again, my entire purpose for the video, because I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed by the negativity. I'm overwhelmed by the fighting. I'm overwhelmed by all the stuff that's going on. I can't. It's gotten to me. I'll admit it. It's gotten to me. I cannot take it. Like, anything happens, and a bazillion people message me about nonsense. And it's gotten to the point where I'm not even going to supply information I have on things because people's confirmation biases are too strong. I'm going to talk about games, and I'm going to play games, and I'm going to, talk about concepts involving games. And especially women's issues, because people seem to respond gloriously to that stuff. One thing I did appreciate was, people linking me to that study that basically confirmed my conjecture. It's one study, but the nice thing about it is it's a 3-year study, but we'll deal with that next. I might make that Feedback Friday, because it actually is a bit of feedback, because I don't want to wait till Tuesday. But, I'll hold off on that till the appropriate show. But that's the stuff I want to talk about. I want to be part of the ongoing history of video games and I have no health potions. I'm going to go back and grab those. That might be why I'm having so much trouble. But, I want to be part of that. And I want to have great conversations about great games. I don't want to have this petty infighting. I don't care what individuals say. I don't care about what stupid stuff individuals do online. I don't care. I can't care anymore. Everyone's exhausted. And when people are tired, they do stupid shit and they lose their emotional control and all that stuff. It's human nature. And that is a part of human nature that is unchanging. Human beings have feelings. And when you hurt their feelings, they get angry at you. But there are different ways of channeling that anger. And what I don't understand is there's all these wonderful games out there, old and new. Instead of yelling at people on the internet, why not just go play a game? And feel less angry that way. It just, I don't know. I'm really, I'm not really being, as eloquent as I normally am because I'm worn out. And this, I guess this is sort of the thing about doing videos 5 days a week, is there are going to be some days where it's just like, I don't know what to talk about, I'm too tired. And I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from seeing people hurt. I'm exhausted in listening to people justify hurting other people. I'm exhausted by people, just feeling completely within their rights to say just dumb, insensitive crap because for some odd reason, being so thick-skinned that you have lost all empathy for other human beings. It's a badge of pride these days, and that's the stuff we're gonna have to walk back from. I'm just worn out by it, and I'm dreading. My E3 accreditation was approved, and I felt sick to my stomach because there was a part of me I realized that was kind of hoping they'd turn me down so I wouldn't have to go and I wouldn't have to face the, I wouldn't have to face that. Because we all know there's going to be something. The outrage police are so emboldened right now that they're just going to be wringing their hands with glee every press conference, looking for the slightest thing to say, that's sexist, or that's transphobic, or that's whatever, when usually it's you can tell very little about a game from most modern game trailers. So all you can really comment on is the content of the trailer, and I think it's fair to comment on the trailer, but I don't know. I thought the Assassin's Creed Unity thing last year was unfair. I can't imagine what it's going to be like this year. It's going to be significantly worse because, these people aren't going to stop now. Last year it was just, ego. Now there's money in it. So it's not going to be fun, and I have to figure out a way to get my, resiliency back, and that's not always the easiest thing in the world. So that's sort of the crossroads I'm at now. And it's dicey because, it's my own money I spend going there. And, that's a funny thing about E3. Most companies don't pay your way to E3. You want to go, they'll give you the badge, they'll write you the letter, but they won't pay for it. It's too expensive. You can never hope to see the return. So it's just one of those things that E3 is professional development for a lot of people. The contacts are useful because, not just everybody can walk in off the street with video game companies. You have to know somebody who knows somebody that can give you the correct contact for someone. And it's almost like there's a membership fee for being a part of the games industry that costs, exactly what the trip to E3 does, which is usually about $2,000. It's usually about $2,000 easy to go down to E3 for 4 days. So it's not cheap. And it's certainly not stress-free. And this year is going to be, and I'm not the only one dreading it. I'm not the only one dreading this stuff. It's fairly common whispered that a lot of people are really not comfortable this year with the way things have gone, but who can do anything about it? We're all just going to have to keep our heads up and soldier forward and know, nobody really gives a shit about whether we're harassed or whether we're made to feel uncomfortable unless we have the right friends. But that's been the reality of every form of media ever in existence. So, I hope for better for gaming, but I can't expect better. And I guess that's sort of where I'm at. So please, if you're listening and you give half a shit about what I think, don't add to that. Don't be an asshole about things. It is a choice. Nobody's forcing you to get mad and send something nasty to someone on Twitter. Just don't do it. Be a better person. Be the bigger person. Do what your mom would want you to do, not what your idiot friend on Xbox Live would want you to do. And Momo just moved, so I got my lap back. Oh, the circulation is coming back into my arm. I didn't even realize it was numb. I was playing games with a very large cat on my arm. So I'm going to sign off there and hope for a better day tomorrow. Hello, werewolf. Ow.